So hello everyone and welcome back to the typical crypto holder, the number one crypto channel on the YouTube where we covering up all of the most resonant news about SHIB, Shiba Inu, where we're covering up all of the most resonant crypto news, Bitcoin news, Ethereum news, and actually explaining how it can influence to the crypto assets price like Shiba Inu and others. So today we are going to talking about cause and actually will the Bitcoin price drop and Shiba Inu's price drop if the stock market crashes. Also, I think worth mentioning that Bitcoin versus Shiba Inu, and actually will Shiba Inu coin beat Bitcoin? So watch it to the end and you will know that stuff. So currency. Currency is of top priority as a store of value as citizens use them for different transactions. A country economy cannot be healthy as long as it doesn't have a stable currency. There is no use saving or earning that currency, which has no stability and is poor as a store of value. So as a gist word, we can say a nation's money must be a credible store of value in order for its citizens to engage in labor and trade, save money and spend it. So back in the day, many nations used gold, silver, or other precious metals as their native currencies. Why so? Definitely it's because of their store of value, relative ease of transport, and ease of exchanging. There is an instance we saw up until 1971. The United States was on a gold standard, and owing to that fact, dollars were redeemable for a specific weight of gold. So, because of the features like scarcity, divisibility, decentralized security network, and holder of transfer of value, Bitcoin and Ethereum nowadays are being considered as a store of value. So here we have actually features of money, crypto, metal, gold, fiat, special considerations. So if you look at the countries with advanced economies, you will see their local currency is considered as a store of value, but things may take a turn in worst case scenarios. But what things are considered to measure store of value change depending on cultures and countries? And how we can, more important, how we can actually understand the real price of different crypto assets and different things like Shiba Inu and Bitcoin and others, and what actually its position in economy. So we can name the Swiss franc, the Singaporean dollar, the Japanese yen, and the United States dollars as stable currencies that are resistant to hyperinflation. As a store of value, gold, silver, real estate, and fine art have also proved several times. During the time of national calamity, financial breakdown, we saw a skyrocketing price of gold that earned it a reputation. Even though fluctuation in their value is a common affair we see, they can be still counted on to retain some value in almost any scenario. So why fiat currencies are horrible style of value? So actually, as you may think, fiat currencies have failed as a store of value, meaning they are not compatible to be held over a longer period, but they are much more efficient for day-to-day transactions. Stephen Hank, an economist, cautioned those who think the world's reserve currency protects the dollar from being devalued. Its begin said because according to the Fed's Consumer Price Index, $1 in 1913 would buy roughly that would require $26.15 in 2020. So inflation is the core reason that led to this decline. Enforcement of monetary policy and controlling the money supply are the responsibility of the United States Federal Reserve. They have a target of 2% inflation every year. The Fed is aimed at maximizing employment and price stability by using the tools available to them. They debase a currency modest amount every year in order to incentivize people to either spend or invest their capital. This is a weapon to them for stimulating economic growth and maximizing employment. So actually Shiba Inu and other crypto assets like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, is actually good defend from the inflation. So this is a long-standing reason fiat will never be a good place to store one's wealth. A portion or a well-diversified portfolio should include a store of value asset. Obviously, it's a good defend from inflation if you buy on the dip. So if you have a good actually open trade mark, so a portion of diversified portfolio should include a store of value asset that is not correlated with stocks, bonds, or real estates to help offset the cyclical nature. It has become a common practice investing in stocks, bonds, or real estates, but bear in mind that these financial markets have the bottom and bust cycles. For example, governments recognize that gold as a monetary value once the market had adopted, and eventually gold appeared as a clear and universally monetary medium. So Bitcoin is better as a store of value than any other asset because of some factors. Let's go through this one by one. So Bitcoin has limited supply, and with total of 21 million fixed supply, and actually different crypto assets have supply which limited. So with a total of 21 million fixed supply, Bitcoin is the most popular liquid asset in the world. Such a fixed amount of liquidity has made Bitcoin the scarcest asset in the world. Bitcoin is an ideal store of value asset as any increase in its demand leads its value to grow. On the other hand, Shiba Inu has a total supply of this big huge number. I think it's 1 trillion. Whereas the circulation supply is these numbers. So this amount of supplies is 18, almost 19 million times more than the total supply of Bitcoin. But poor fundamentals of Shiba Inu are keeping itself behind some steps despite it has a big amount of market supply. So investors feel relief investing in a coin with small amount of supply. For example, Bitcoin has only 21 million supply. And the number to standard rich people around the world is more than 21 million, which means they will be hungry to buy Bitcoin in the future. But investors are less willing to invest in SHIB as it has a huge circulation supply. So this obviously at the moment, obviously Bitcoin is more interesting for the investors, but 10 years ago for investors know anything about Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin was that it traded at the good price. I think $10, maybe $100, even $300. So the Shiba Inu nowadays, when all the investors interested in Bitcoin and Ethereum, the Shiba Inu actually have a really good entry price mark. So I think it's really good to know. So having a schedule, Bitcoin has a predetermined supply schedule which is disinflationary. The cause of the supply schedules being deflationary is the amount that gets minted per block decreases by half every 4 years. This schedule can never be altered, and Bitcoin comes scarcer over time whatever the price or demand is owing to this halving. But sadly to say, such kind of organized tokenomics is missing in Shiba. Keeping 50% of supply locked in Uniswap and sending the remaining 50% to Vitalik address made Shiba tokenomics controversial. However, the total supply of Shiba Inu tokens is 1 quadrillion. Compared to BTC, Shiba is highly lagged due to its controversial tokenomics. A coin that sends 50% of its coins to a third-party address just to create hype doesn't have the quality to be a store of value. So it's also important to know, regardless of the amount of additional computing power you put into the Bitcoin network, the output of the number of Bitcoins mined per block remains constant. That means the same number of Bitcoin will be produced tomorrow regardless of whether there are 10 computers mining or 10 million. That leaves no question to understand that Bitcoin is far ahead of Shiba in terms of fundamentals and technology. So, undoubtedly, Bitcoin can be considered as a store of value. So, let me know what you're thinking. Can you agree with that? And also click on the video on your screen right now if you're interested in more video like this one, where we're talking about Shiba Inu news, where we're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all of the crypto market. So, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.